There's a king on a throne with his eyes torn out. There's a blind man looking for a shadow of doubt. There's a rich man sleeping on a golden bed. There's a skeleton choking on a crust of bread. Welcome to another horridly tired, despicable episode of the apocalypse. Congratulations, by the way, for choosing the apocalypse. Not a wise choice. And since you have unwisely chosen the apocalypse, you are in urgent need of a guide. Unfortunately for me, I happen to be that guide, your humble guide. Nicholas, so good to see you. A bloody gayin'. It appears people are starting to call it what it is. Mass murder on the high seas. Let us begin. I'm going to start with this from yesterday. Mostly stuff from yesterday, not that much in total. And about 3-4 things from today, because not that much happened, but there's a situation going on. I can tell once again people think it's going to change anything. It won't. But I applaud their effort. And I'll get to that. But we need to start with this because a lot of people noticed, and I noticed right away. We've got a Reich, and this was planned before they got in, by the way. They already knew they were going to do all this. So I don't know why people are surprised. This was planned. This isn't spur of the moment. This isn't organic. They made a calculated decision to start blowing up boats in the Caribbean. Donnie and Hegseth, those two. Specifically. Orders come from Donnie, then to Hegseth, then to the people. The entire chain's guilty, down to the motherfucker that presses the button. So Donnie and Hegseth made a calculated decision because they want Venezuela's oil. They want to send a message to every drug cartel. We want in. If a nickel bag gets sold in the park, we want the fuck in. They're Frank Whiting the whole fucking Caribbean, the whole, South American drug thing. You got fat while people always starved on the street. It's my turn. Sorry, I was just watching clips of that the other day. So, they're pretending they're not, this isn't the Antichrist and the apocalypse and all that. That they, it's just a war for oil. It's not. But it is all that other stuff. So the justification for it, the lie they need to tell is, oh, well, these boats all have drugs on them. So they're blowing up boats in the Caribbean full of fishermen saying they're drug traffickers. Even if they were drug traffickers, the American military does not have the right in any way, shape, or form to blow them the fuck out of the water. If they try and drive their boat into a military vessel, if they attack the vessel, that's a different story. Not a damn one of those boats attacked any Navy vessel gets the fuck out of here. They didn't even try it. They wouldn't dare. That's the only justification for a boat full of drugs coming at you or going that way and you blowing it out the water is only if they attack you. Or Congress declares war. We have a declared war against the country. We don't. Those are the only two reasons the American military has a legitimate right to kill people on the high fucking seas. We can't just wake up one day because it's the Fourth Reich and it's the apocalypse and the Antichrist and Satan and all that's 100% what it is. That's what's fucking sad. But just because it's that doesn't mean it now gives the American military the right to blow boats out the fucking water when we're not at war. But I'm getting too far into it. Drug trafficking is the reason, right? Those drugs are killing people. That's what Donnie keeps saying, right? As we watch him pardon drug trafficker after drug trafficker after drug trafficker. This is just the ultimate elephant example right here. Trump says he'll issue a full and complete pardon to former Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez, convicted of drug trafficking last year in the U.S., sentenced to 45 years. But we're blowing up boats in the Caribbean. Some of them are fishermen. All of them are fishermen, in my opinion. They don't care. Donnie laughs about it in front of the cameras. Incredible. So we can blow up boats in the Caribbean under the pretext of they're trafficking drugs and it's going to kill people. Even though Hegseth and Donnie do drugs. But when we have a drug trafficker and this cunt, 400 tons of coke, son. Do you hear me? Tons of coke. Probably enough to supply the whole United States for 3 days. I don't know. I'm just guessing. 400 tons? That's why he got such a sentence. That's who Donnie let the fuck out of jail. I don't ever want to hear anyone make a legitimate argument or try to. That this is about drugs down in the Caribbean murdering fishermen. Go fuck yourself. Don't even try it with me. How do I know your bullshit, your Messiah's bullshit, blowing up fishermen and calling them drug traffickers in the Caribbean is bullshit? This right here. 400 tons, cunt. 400 tons. Donnie don't give a fuck about any drugs coming in. He's a cokehead most of his fucking life. Every person he's pardoning are abject criminals. These aren't cases of, oh, like they got the case wrong. Nope. These are cases of Donnie gets paid, they get out of fucking jail. Unbelievable. He's literally murdering people down in the Caribbean. This guy, though, 400 tons, that's it? Let's give him a pardon. And then he calls Pete up. Hey, can you blow up a few more boats? I love watching those videos, Pete. Donnie is a mass murderer now. Do you understand that? Ron Filipkowski sums it up nicely. And I was like, wow, people are starting to call it what it is, what it's always been. So one more time, class, with the Reich, this is Reich logic, or, apocalypse logic. We want to steal Venezuelan oil logic. It's okay for us to blow up boats down in the Caribbean that have no chance of making it to the United States. No threat to anyone. Murder people. 80 some so far that I know of. But when we have a drug trafficker responsible for 400 goddamn tons of cocaine in custody, we let him out. All those boats that blew up, how long would it take them to bring 400 tons in? I imagine it'd probably take them the rest of their life. What this man is responsible for. So please, again, MAGA, anyone, don't pretend you're about anything. Don't pretend he's about anything. Because he just proved for the 9 millionth time he's not about anything. Except if you give me money, well, you get what you want. The fishermen down in Venezuela, well, they get murdered and laughed at on camera. What you people have done, you'll understand in the end, and it'll be too late. Such a shame. But you knew better. Remember that when it all comes down. This is something Donnie posted yesterday. Again, Trump 2028, yes. So again, the president of the United States proving he's an abject traitor. Every president knows you only get 2 terms. Donnie's been joking, putting signs and memes up that he's going to stay forever, and he's going to do it this time. He's not leaving. Proving a traitor once again, proving the Constitution is meaningless. He just wants to be Caesar, God, King forever. Staged a coup last time, you remember that? Kind of an indicator he planned on staying, right? And never leaving, right? Right. Ron Filipkowski, I would call Pete Hegseth a war criminal, but we aren't at war. He's just a mass murderer. Yep. No justification whatsoever legally for blowing those boats out of the water, let alone the survivors on the side. Everybody thinks that's the gotcha. None of it's the gotcha, because the law don't matter anymore, goddammit. That's simple. It hasn't since January 20. It never will again. I've been yelling since this is going on. You have no right even to blow the boat up in general. And I'm right. Legally. That's a trial at The Hague right there for indiscriminately blowing up boats. People get 10 times more outraged or they try and start citing the law when there's survivors in the water. That's the gotcha thing. No, if the gotcha thing ain't blowing up the boat, then the gotcha thing's nothing. We'll get to it, though. Donnie and Pete Hegseth, mass murderers. That's legitimate. That title they've earned. Over 80 bodies, each directly under their orders. The general that left recently, once he had to blow up the survivors that were in the water, fuck you. You should have said no from the beginning. That was the red line for you? How about just indiscriminately blowing up boats? How come that wasn't a fucking red line? That's what I mean about you people. You just go the fuck along. And you try and step out when it's too fucking late, when you already sold your damn soul. The entire chain has to say no, from general on down. Not, okay, I'll blow up the boat, but blowing up the survivors, that's a bridge too far, I resign. Fuck you. I'm not impressed, son. Not impressed in the slightest. Very few of you military have impressed me, actually. Because there ain't too many that put the gun down. Not impressed. And again, you deployed against us, you dead to me. You're dead. You don't exist. Not that that matters to you, but it will. Don't worry. It will in another place. This is the lawyer. If you don't know who the fucking lawyer is, you better ask somebody. This appears to be outright murder. Appears to be, Mr. Lawyer. In order to kill injured people who are not posing a single threat to anyone, quite possibly a war crime. How about blowing up the boat in general? They weren't a threat to anyone either. How come all of a sudden this is over the line? I know, blowing up defenseless survivors, that's always a kind of no-no in war, even though it's done left and right. Blowing up the boats at all is outright murder. There's not even an attempt at arrest or boarding. Again, because it's a message to the cartels and they want Venezuelan oil. And when they were asking Donnie in the Oval Office these past months, you know, how do you know there's drugs on the... Well, when they blow up, you can see the drugs. They all have drugs on there. Do you see them flying out? No. As if that's justification. So what if they have drugs on the boat? Seize the drugs, seize the boat, arrest them. That's how it's supposed to go. Not just the U.S. Navy indiscriminately blows boats out of the fucking water. So the question shouldn't even be, how do we know there's drugs on the boat? The question should be, why are you indiscriminately blowing up boats when we don't have a war going declared by Congress? That's murder, sir. That's what the question should be. I mean, you get to the point where there's survivors in the water after you've already killed 5-6 people. And that's, you know, the big no-no. No, the whole thing is the big no-no. And everyone knows it. And here's the excerpt from the information that's been going around for the past 2 days. As again, this isn't even necessary for me because I knew it was illegal the second they started blowing up boats without a declaration of war. Pete Hegseth gave spoken directive according to 2 people with direct knowledge of the operation. The order was to kill everybody. A missile screamed off the Trinidad coast, striking the vessel, igniting a blaze from bow to stern. For minutes, commanders watched boat burning on live drone feed. As the smoke cleared, they got a jolt. 2 survivors were clinging to the wreck. Special Operations Commander overseeing September 2nd attack, the opening salvo in Trump's war on suspected drug traffickers in the Western Hemisphere, ordered a second strike to comply with Hegseth's instructions. 2 people familiar with the matter said the 2 men were blown apart in the water. So they were guilty of murder the second they hit the boat the first time, in my opinion. And I bet that's the law as well. Let alone blowing up survivors. In other words, the red line for me was indiscriminately blowing up boats for any reason. There is no legitimate reason, unless that boat is attacking you. George Conway. This would be a war crime even if there were an actual war and these people were actual combatants, which there isn't, and they weren't. Right. Even in war, you're not supposed to kill unarmed survivors and all that. But come on, it's done. It's unquestionably an unlawful homicide under any form of law you wish to apply. Right. That's my opinion, and I'm not a lawyer. I don't need to be one to know. You just kind of know a few things. You know what I mean? Military or civilian, domestic or international, federal, state, right. That's the same thing I was just thinking before I read it. I was thinking it wouldn't even matter what law. I bet if I checked international law, it would say it's illegal. If I checked military, all of it. Flat out murder by any reasonable definition you can come up with. Yeah. Now, everyone's talking about this, opening investigations, this. It will change nothing. Here's what people need to remember. This is a Reich, and it was planned before you even knew it was one. And if they get backed into a corner, they're going to go full Reich and fuck you. So like I said all the way back in, I don't know, January, February, it don't matter what the law is, what this says, what that person says, a judge, no, none of it matters. When they get to that point where someone's really going to try and hold them accountable, full Reich, it's over. They have that card they can play at any time. And the military's gone along as far as I'm concerned, so I don't see them stepping in to save us. Even though, you people pay their fucking salary. And Donnie steals money out the treasury. That's the difference. You pay them, Donnie just pockets. Flat out murder, yep, it's my opinion. Just blowing up the boat, let alone the survivors. Survivors, straight up war crime. Textbook war crime, extrajudicial killing. This is Ryan Goodman. 2 survivors were clinging to smoldering wreck. And then the second strike was ordered. This is Donnie talking about Joe Biden auto pen. Why did I include this? Oh. I told you the facade would drop more and more. I told you Donnie wanted to do this, and he was going to do this. And they were setting the table for this months back, and they've been talking about it more and more and more, and they're going to get to the point where it's all nullified. Well, Donnie just nullified it. And who's going to stop him? Who? Because everybody laughed at this. People are laughing at these proclamations. They don't understand they're all real. They're all going to happen. Because people ain't going to have a choice. They're going to go full Reich. So I just wouldn't laugh too hard when he makes these outrageous proclamations. He is Caesar now. He's been governing by proclamation since fucking January. What the fuck is Congress and the Senate passed besides tax cuts for fucking trillionaires? Any document signed by Sleepy Joe with auto pen, which is approximately 92% of them, is hereby terminated of no further force or effect, says Caesar. Of course, he has no legal right to do this, but what did I just tell you 5 minutes ago? What have I been telling you? The law don't fucking matter. Dead. You haven't noticed? This cunt staged a coup. Did he go to prison? It's dead, son. Get used to it, because they're going to get way fucking worse. Auto pen is not allowed to be used if approval is not specifically given by the president. Radical left lunatics circling Biden around the beautiful desk in the Oval Office took the presidency. I'm canceling all executive orders. Anything else that was not directly signed by Crooked Joe. So any executive orders, any pardons, any of that, he just nullified it all via proclamation. Let's see how far he goes to enforce this right now. Like, tomorrow, does he go try and arrest Adam Schiff? I don't know. I told you months and months back when they first mentioned auto pen, I think it was like the first month. Actually, I remember doing videos before the election saying this. The pardons ain't going to matter. Donnie just going to nullify them all. Said that probably back in January, February. There it is, son. Right again. This is a new missile test by Russia. And what caught my eye about it, this guy, Igor Sushko, I assume is Russian or Ukrainian or something like that. And he reports on things in that region. And the test looked like this. The missile failed. It kind of started just flying towards, it went up a ways and then it turned around and aimed itself at the ground and just like flew towards the ground. But the thing is, the missile, it's an intercontinental ballistic missile RS-28 Sarmat, Satan II. So, Vlad named one, I guess the first edition of the missile, Satan. And the new edition is Satan II. That's one evil bastard. Jesus. The missile failed anyway, horribly, miserably. Just like Russia is failing. I thought this was interesting. I was just following orders, and it's especially relevant now. Didn't work in 45, and it's not going to work in 2025. That's a great point. Unfortunately, I don't think we're ever going to have those Hague-type trials because of a thing called Armageddon. Or maybe we'll have them after. I don't know. But everyone will be dead. I mean, a lot of people in the Reich that are responsible, like, I think all of them will be dead. Probably already be in a lake, too. How would that work? I don't know. Blood horse bridle high. I mean, doesn't sound like any of them live. But this is relevant now. I've been yelling about this. The first time he deployed troops in an American city, that was an illegal order in my legal opinion, damn it. You have to have a real justification to deploy the American military in an American city. There have been times where riots and stuff, it got out of hand and there needed to be troops. It's happened. It hasn't happened to Donnie, though. Except when he staged his coup. We did need troops then. Donnie was busy eating hot wings. Sorry. Blowing the boats out of the water, when the second they started doing it, I told you my legal opinion, even though I'm not a lawyer. I know some things, though. Those were illegal orders. So when I hear Congress or whoever write a letter warning about illegal orders, well, those illegal orders were already given and they were followed. That was the moment. The first time Donnie said, oh, I'm going to deploy the military against a city and a governor I do not like, because the rubes dig that shit, and I want California's budget in my pocket. I'm not kidding. That was an illegal order, and the entire military could have said, no, we're not deploying against American citizens for nothing. There's no riot. There's no attack. There's no reason for us to be there. It's an illegal order. I refuse. From general down to private should have done that. Anyone that did not do that, I have lost all respect for. You are dead to me. The blowing up the boats, you all now have 80-some bodies on your heads. That's from President Cunt Trump, Hegseth, all the way down to the button presser. What does this say, son? I was just following orders is not a good enough excuse. Never was, never will be. So the second the order was given from Donnie to Hegseth, let's start blowing up boats. From general all the way down to button presser, should have said, I refuse that order. You all have 80-some bodies on your heads now, according to the man. Not me. The man. Because again, I was just following orders. Oh, the man ain't ever going to hear that. Never. One more time, let me repeat it. The second he started using the military against American cities, from general on down to private, should have said, I refuse that order. The second he asked you folks to blow up boats in the Caribbean, as if you have the right to, from general down to button presser, should have said, I refuse that order. All legal orders, and every fucking body knows it. They protested for a year straight in Georgia. In these kind of numbers. That's hardcore, man. I don't know how the government's held out this long. You can't have protests every day for a year and have a functioning economy and all that. So unless everyone goes to work and then they come out after work and protest and it's like more orderly, I don't know. I don't know how the government's holding out. I don't know how you can't have a country like that. It can't function. That's the resolve, though, of Putin and evil. It's a shame. We'll see what kind of resolve they have, Putin and his minions at the lake. I don't think they'll have much. This is astounding to me. This was today. Donny Post. Again, by proclamation, Caesar, facade dropping, king of the fucking world. To all airlines, pilots, drug dealers, human traffickers, please consider the airspace above and surrounding Venezuela to be closed in its entirety. That's in all caps, that proclamation part right there. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Fatass. He's telling an entire country they can't use their own airspace for anything, not even commercial traffic. I told you he's the Antichrist, right? I told you he has a God complex. I assume, since he wrote this today, we'll be going to war with Venezuela soon. I guess he's trying to cripple them economically. I don't know. Is he going to start shooting down airliners now? Is that where we're going with this? It wouldn't surprise me with this fucking maniac. Think about this. Again, legit business, illegitimate business, human traffickers, pilots, pilots? What the fuck? To all airlines, pilots, drug dealers, human traffickers. How are they going to enforce this? Are they going to start shooting down anything in Venezuelan airspace? But this is where our world is going. You understand that, right? He's going to make these proclamations and they're going to happen. Like this. He's been doing it since January. Governing by proclamation. I mean, have you ever seen this from a president? Just tell another country that, just wake up one day. You can't use your airspace. Insane. This is a government account, the U.S. Department of Labor, a Reich account. The fight for Western civilization has begun and Americanism will prevail. Americanism? What's that? And the comments are, first look at the picture. Lincoln be rolling in his fucking grave with this bullshit. How dare they do this with Lincoln specifically? What a coincidence they used 11 stars just like the racist loser Confederacy over President Lincoln's head. What a coincidence they used Germanic font like the racist loser Third Reich. What a coincidence, right? Paying homage to the Reich and the fucking Confederacy. They're exactly what I say they are. That's our government now. A hybrid of the Confederacy and the Third Reich. Take a look again. Look, they told Lincoln down south, the Southerners told Lincoln, we want to secede. You know, we'll have a South America and a, or whatever they're called. I don't know what you would call it. Lincoln could have said, okay, let's split the Union. He could have took the easy route. Maybe saved himself a lot of fucking aggravation and allowed people to stay slaves and all that shit. And he said, no, we're going to stay one country. Fuck you. And slavery's going to end. Because honestly, that's really what the war was about. The Southern economy. With slaves, you make a lot more money. Without them, you make less. They wanted more. They sent the young men of the South like idiots to go die for it. So the rich plantation owners, you know, they could keep their black slaves. Entire war over that. But Lincoln said, fuck you, no, we're staying one country. So how dare they do the, you know, this 11 stars or whatever it is, and the Germanic fucking font over it in honor of the Reich. Just such an insult to this man specifically. Because this man, I mean, imagine what the country, I imagine the country probably started hating him. Because he's the one that decided, you know, at least from the story I know, no, it's going to stay one, and there's going to have to be a war fought over it. He took that heat, and I guarantee there was heat. Because you got Americans killing Americans back and forth. And wanting to end slavery, that'll make you a damn lot of enemies in this era of America. White people really weren't, they didn't even want to hear, you know, let's free the slaves. Amazing. I'm so glad this person pointed this out, because I wouldn't have caught this. I wouldn't have looked at it. I don't even look at the Department of Labor, you know, Twitter page. Why would I? It's a Reich page, propaganda page. But to do this to Lincoln, and again, I've been telling you, the racism core to this movement, core to right-wing politics, and I'm telling you, these people right now, this specific group, that's a Reich they build in the image of the Third Reich. Both ideas represented here. I'm so glad this person pointed it out. We're going to say it's not happening, right? You got a government 1984 account putting out this propaganda. This some dystopian nightmare shit, boy. They combine traitors of the South in America with one of the most evil regimes ever, the Third Reich, with the font. And this is all in honor of a traitor in the White House who staged a coup, who's a mass murderer. I knew you'd get there out in the open, Donnie. I know you've had people whack before, but you would never admit it like you've been doing lately. I knew you'd get there. Open mass murder. I knew you'd get there. Well done, Donnie. You're earning your place in the lake, son. Better than ever. This is just a statement that someone posted. A shithole country isn't a poor country that can't feed its children. It's a rich country that won't feed its children. There's a lot of hybrid socialist countries like Canada and France and other places. They don't starve their children. And they have free health care. America doesn't, and it does starve its children. In fact, America laughs at the starving children, let alone feeding them. So yeah, which one's the shithole country? In reality, despite what they, American exceptionalism is taught every 5 seconds. We are. But let me go back to the, because that's all I have for tonight. Let me go back to the boat killings, because that's really what I wanted to talk about. That's really the point of this video. First of all, the troop deployments, illegal orders, all military should have refused that order. The boats, the second Donnie and Hegseth were asking you folks to just randomly blow up boats, you all should have refused the order from General on down. Unfortunately, we do have some MAGA generals that will probably end up going along with anything. So it was illegal even blowing up the boat. But now the big story again. There were survivors. It's so illegal. There's going to be an investigation. Blah, blah, fucking blah. And I know people have hope and they're trying and they're making the comments for a reason. And people are jumping on it for a reason. I understand. Unfortunately, even if you somehow managed to get rid of Hegseth, it would stop nothing. And you won't manage to get rid of Hegseth right now. I don't think so. Because again, son, they still have the full Reich card. They can slap down and say Uno. So if they get backed into a corner, like, they send someone to go grab Hegseth and arrest him, full Reich, too late. And the military will go along. I already know that. What I'm trying to say is I don't want you getting your hopes up. This is going to be the thing that takes Donnie down. This mass murder on the high seas, the illegality of it. Or this is going to be the thing that takes Hegseth down, or the Reich down. Nope. Hegseth leaked a fucking strike package to a reporter on a Signal app. He didn't even get a fucking write-up. This is a Reich that was planned way before any of you, I knew 10 years ago, any of you knew it was a Reich. So I applaud George Conway and other people pointing out the law and saying how just utterly illegal it is to blow up survivors in the water. It will change nothing. I keep explaining, and I'll explain it again. We got to ride this out. They got to 80-some murders so far in the Caribbean, and no one's done a damn thing. You think they're going to do something now? No. So we got to ride this out. We have to. We have no choice. This will not take Donnie and Hegseth down, although, again, I applaud everyone's enthusiasm. I applaud their effort. I applaud their hope that this is a thing that'll take one or both of them down. It's not, I'm sorry. And if you dare fantasize about the midterms and the Democrats sweeping the Senate and sweeping Congress and impeaching Donnie and removing him, no. What'd I tell you, class? They got the full right card. So I doubt they would even let a large number of Democrats join the Senate and Congress ever again. They'll let the vote take place, probably. They'll see how it goes. Donnie will get just obliterated. Or he'll declare martial law and the shit will get postponed and never happen. I'm sure the entire Reich knows if they allow the midterms to go forward fairly, well, they'd lose a lot of seats and Donnie would get impeached in about a month. Would he get removed? That's a whole nother story. So what does that mean, class? Donnie can't let that happen. He never intended on letting that happen. And anytime, if they really think they're backed into a corner and we got to reveal it, we can't hold back. They're going to try and hold us accountable. Got to just do it now. They got the full right card. They can play that at any time over anything. Donnie is not letting, again, 30, 40 Democrats join the Senate and Congress and get his ass impeached. That's not going to happen. He won't allow it. Personally, I'll be surprised if he allows the midterms to happen at all. Again, because he can't risk having some big influx of Democrats. And it's going to happen. It's inevitable. I mean, look at these people. Look what they're doing. His approval's like 35% or something like that. Pretty hated. No, we're going to ride this out. And they got a contingency for everything. And the ultimate contingency for everything that comes their way is full Reich, slap that down. Military will go along. They always do. They ain't shit. So please don't get your hopes up that, oh, this survivor's hanging on the wreckage that they murdered. We got him now. The devil gave him his power, seat, authority. Remember that. So the devil gonna keep this motherfucker going till the devil can't do it no more. And the man steps in. So no, the boat thing is not the thing that's going to take it down. Nothing's going to take it down until the man takes it down. We have to ride it out. And as far as I'm concerned, the second the first boat was blown up, that was an illegal order followed. That was murder. And everyone's guilty from Donnie, Hegseth, General, all the way down to the button presser. You're all guilty. And you're all responsible. You're all mass murderers now. You didn't have legit justification to kill those people. That's really where we at. Do you hear what I'm saying? That's real, son. Donald Trump is a mass murderer. Pete Hegseth is a mass murderer. Legit. Over 80 bodies they got stacked in their backyard. And they ain't done by a damn sight, I'm sure. I told you this motherfucker was the Antichrist. You know how I know? He didn't just murder these people. He laughs about it on camera repeatedly. Over and over again, day after day, makes jokes about no one can be in the water in that area. They're afraid to go fishing. Ha ha ha. We might murder them. Big funny fucking joke, right? One more time and I guess I'll end this piece of shit. Donald Trump is a mass murderer on top of everything fucking else. The list I could go on all night. Rapist, defamer, traitor, staged a coup, espionage, stealing fucking classified documents. He re-stole them when you gave him the keys back. Idiots. Your Messiah is a mass murderer. His Secretary of War is a mass murderer. The Reich is committing mass murder. Have a wonderful evening.